the haze, under the sun, or in the rain. Happiness is choice, not a chain. Age ain't nothing but a tale. Mindset's what sets the sail. Under any sky, any plight, spark of joy ignites tonight. Right here, right now, I'll rise above. Living life full of light and love. No tomorrows, no yesterdays. Here in the now's where I'll stay. Circumstances won't define my day. I'll paint the world in my own way. Every moment's a chance to start with a happy mind and a grateful heart. Tides will turn and storms will pass. I'll ride the waves and make them last. For every smile that meets my face, right here, right now's my sacred place. Right here, right now, I'll rise above. Living life full of light and love. No tomorrows, no yesterdays. Here in the now's where I'll stay. Tides will turn and storms will pass. I'll ride the waves and make them last. For every smile that meets my face, right here, right now's my sacred place. Right here, right now, I'll rise above. Living life full of light and love. No tomorrows, no yesterdays. Here in the now's where I'll stay.
Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. My special guest, Gail, is having trouble with Restream right this moment. So she will be here very shortly. We're going to try to get her connected to Restream and on her way. But how is everybody doing? It is hashtag What's Up Wednesday, an open collaboration hosted by Lucia over at Tjo Creates, and also hashtag HGW Healthy Goals Wednesday, and that one is an open collab sponsored by Gail at Gail Southern Living and Heather at Milk and Honey Heritage Farms. And they talk about anything that has to do with your health and just setting goals and trying to get as healthy as you can. Let me see if I'm going to be able to pull up this live stream. She says she is trying. Okay. Let's hope we get there. And my phone is not wanting to let me pull up my chat. So I hope I can see my chat from here. I think we had Vince in early, and Norma Kay is here, and Body Illusion is here. There's Kristen from Bella's Whisper Farmstead. Hello, Kristen. Let's see. Whoops. That's Gail again. Hold on. Oh, she's here now, it says. Okay. Oh, okay. Let me look at what this says. Okay. Hopefully we are almost there. I hate it when it gives you trouble. I am not that technologically advanced, and I always hate it when tech trouble comes. Our apartment complex is being power washed today, and I can hear one of the fire alarms going off. I don't think it's in my building, but it makes a huge, annoying, loud sound. So if it goes off here, we will probably have to end the stream because y'all won't be able to handle it. I'll have to mute. But hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully we're good. And I still don't understand why this is not letting me, um, pull up my live stream at all. Okay, how do you allow access to the camera? All right, she's still trying, y'all. Bless her heart. I am so sorry this is happening for her. We are going to be talking today about the, it won't let me hit join stream. Oh my goodness. Goodness. All right, she is still having trouble. I'm going to go ahead and drop a link in the chat, and then hopefully she can come in and be able to get in that way. And then if she can click on that, then hopefully she can still stream to her channel. I hope that works. Hi, Chef Hit Dice. Welcome. We're having some technical difficulties with our guest trying to get into the restream, which you know all too well about that. So hopefully she'll be here momentarily. Has joined. All right, she made it. There she is.
Whew, that was a challenge. I forgot how
I'm
hard Restream is. That's why I stopped doing Restream. Oh my gosh.
well, I am so sorry.
It was the camera. It's weird. It has these little quirky places in it that, oh my goodness. Anyway.
And for
I will
some
have,
reason, my phone will not let me pull up my stream. So I'm going to cut this phone off and come back and see if that works. But I got the chat in here, but I like to
be able
have
to
it on my
listen to it.
phone too.
Hello, Kristen with Bella's Whisper Farmstead. I did see them in the chat.
Yes. And Chef Hit Dice is here, Body Illusion, and Norma Kay, and Vince was here in the
Hi, Marlene.
beginning. So I was just telling them that you want to talk about the Ozark meetup.
Yes.
Go ahead and explain to us, first of all, what is a YouTube meetup and how do they come about?
A YouTube meetup. Well, there are a lot of different places. There's some in Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Missouri that I know of, and I think there's like Kentucky and a few other places. Not all states have them, but I actually live in Texas, and I went to this meetup last year because Simply Jan Homestead was hosting it, and her co-host um, finished last year, but then resigned for the next year. So I asked her if I could be the co-host for the Ozark meetup, even though I live in Texas. And also, Linda with Another Time is also co-hosting. So this meetup is happening in Missouri, and basically YouTubers get together. There's a lot of homesteaders and gardeners, but there's also people just do cooking on their channel. We have Crazy Crafter Adventures who actually does crafting on her channel. We actually have some just like fans that come just to meet us. So it's really cool. And people hand out stickers and t-shirts and mugs and magnets. It's really fun. And sometimes people will set up booths to sell stuff. We sing karaoke and play games. This particular meetup is happening on June 6th through the 8th in Missouri. And it's going on at the Pomme de Terre State Park. That's June 6th through the 8th. Last year, hubby and I purchased a Palomino camper that fits on the back of our truck so that we could pull it with the truck. So last year we actually stayed in the cabin. This year we'll be staying in our camper and our popover camper. And so it's really fun. They have these. My favorite part is the fireside chats where we just sit around and talk. There's like a main day, which is usually Saturday, where's the meet and greet and people hand out things and stuff like that. Then there's some more casual stuff that happens like before, like going out to eat and stuff. And we're going to have like a lot of games. There's always a really cool giveaway. We're going to have a giveaway for the adults. We're also going to have a giveaway for all the children that are there. As a co-host of the meetup, I will be bringing probably 3 to 5 items to give away. Other people, even if you're not going to the meetup, you can totally donate something to give away, and it's a great advertisement for your channel. And I recommend that anybody who donates a gift to one of these meetups should put a sticker or a card or some kind of stamp of their channel on the item. So if you wanted to donate an item because you can't go, but you want to advertise your channel, you could donate an item by sending it to Simply Jan Homestead. You could also send it to me before the meetup. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. Some really great channels are going to be there. Simply Jan Homestead, Linda with Another Time, Il Canirum, BNS Odyssey, White Rock Nation, Resourceful Living, Our Cabin in the Woods. Lots of really cool channels with lots of different genres. You can be of any genre and go. It doesn't matter how many subscribers you have. We try to be very welcoming to everyone who wants to come into the meetup, and even the people that do not have channels. They come in and do what we're doing, do the giveaways with us and eat with us and everything. So they're just part of it like everybody else. And we've gotten to know some of our actual fans, you know. I don't know what else to call them but fans. Our fans, our watchers. And it's a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. I basically go to 2 of these meetups per year. I go to the one in Missouri because that's where my friend Jan is, and she's like one of my YouTube BFFs. And then I also go to Pinecone Fest because it's in Texas and it's close to my house. And that one happens in October. So there's actually a channel called Webb's Web where you can look and see a list of all the meetups. You might find one a little closer to you if you can't go to this one. If you do have questions about this meetup, you can email me at galessouthernliving22@yahoo.com, and I will send you specifics. There are people who stay in RV spots, cabins, trailers, hotels, tents, you name it. There's all kinds of choices for places to stay. Hello, Carol. Welcome in.
Hi, Carol.
So, yeah. So it's really fun. And if anyone's near that area and you have any questions, usually you bring your channel stickers with you. I actually ordered a small pack for my ministry channel and a bigger pack for my main channel. I noticed somebody last year took a Ziploc bag and they put their channel sticker in there and maybe a business card. I'm not going to put a business card, but I'm going to put both channel stickers in there, and I'm going to put probably some kind of seed in there, and then maybe like some Dum Dum suckers or some hard candy, just a little. And that way I don't have to hand out each sticker individually. I can just give each person a bag. And I usually try to find some kind of seed to hand out. Like last year at PineCon Fest, I handed out pink 4 o'clock seeds. I don't know what I'm going to do because it'll be technically before my harvest time. But I'm thinking maybe hyacinth seeds because they're kind of bulky to mail places, but I could hand them out there for free, so, and it's at least something kind of rare. But this year I plan on planting about 4 or 5 different kinds of 4 o'clock. So next year I'll be able to hand out a mixed pack of different colors of 4 o'clock. So that'll be really fun. But anyway, so it's just fun. My idea that I wanted to do at the meetup is I wanted to set up a seed swap table. So people I have a gallon size bag I've been working on getting together of extra seeds. They could be seeds I don't grow, but somebody else could grow. I mean, sometimes they're really good, like fancy Baker's Creek seeds or, some kind of fancy whatever. But they're just not my thing, And also any seeds that I harvested myself, I'll make up little seed packs. I actually put a little square of paper in there, and one side says what the seed is. The other side says my channel name, because every opportunity you have to advertise your channel, even if it's someone going home and planting your seeds, I think you should take all those opportunities to advertise. But let me know if you see any questions, or if you maybe can't go to this one, but you just want to kind of know what they do. I'm going to go on Wednesday, and it goes through Sunday. Like Sunday will be the day everybody leaves and stuff. But they usually do like, I thought I saw a question. Did I? Yeah. Members only lives with giveaway. Oh, that's your thing. Anyway, so it's going to be fun, and I just wanted to come up here because I know Echo maybe has a different crowd than I do, and so I thought maybe some of you guys would like to come, and I would love to meet you guys, of course. If you happen to be by Missouri, Texas or Oklahoma or Missouri or one of those close states, it'd be really cool to see you guys. So yeah, I thought I saw a question, but then I don't really know how to look at I'm kind of scrolling through the chat right now, but
yeah.
Fun. I have fun at the meetup. I'm really comfortable with Jan. I'm not always the most outgoing person ever, but I feel comfortable when I'm around Jan. She makes me feel comfortable. Not all social circumstances am I comfortable, but she's really fun and she's really easygoing. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. I actually get to meet my friend Adrienne from Indiana Backyard Gardener at the meetup. I've never actually met her in person, but I've known her over 4 years. So it would be really cool to get to meet her. And of course, I get to see Linda, which I met last year at the Ozark meetup. And yeah, this will be my first time actually participating in the co-hosting part of these. And I think this is like my sixth or seventh meetup I've been to. But I really like it. I think it's fun. And I like traveling around in the camper, so it gives us places to go to. And maybe next year we'll add another state to our traveling and YouTube meetups. We do actually have a family reunion in July, so we'll be going out in the camper in July too. And then in August we're going to a wedding, so that'll be fun. Hi, Rudy. So, yeah.
Okay.
Do you have any questions from what you heard, like from the perspective? Because have you ever been to a meetup?
I have not. And I wanted to make it clear, too, that this is not something that YouTube sponsors or puts together or helps in any way. So
the three co-hosts are paying for a lot of the stuff, and the potluck dinner is a potluck where everybody brings stuff, and it's going to be your basic hamburgers and hot dogs, and people are going to bring like chips and desserts and drinks and pasta salad and baked beans, stuff that goes with that. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And then my friend Linda is going to do a jam contest. So I've made jelly a little bit, but I'm not really experienced enough to enter her jam contest, but I'll be glad to be a judge or something, maybe. As long as it's not one of those hot jellies where it mixes sweet and hot together, because I don't do very well with hot stuff.
Yeah. Me
But
neither.
yeah.
I don't like anything hot or anything spicy. So, but people are going to actually make jam while they're there, or they're going to bring jam with them?
We're going to bring jam with them.
Oh, okay. I was going to say that's pretty
I don't
ambitious.
know anything about if we're going to have a prize for that, but that would be kind of neat. The part that I'm kind of over is the seed swap table. I'm going to try to keep that in order. I'm going to bring some sacks for people to put they can both bring the seeds and take some seeds. And if they didn't bring seeds, they can still take some seeds. So it'll be really fun. It'll be a way to get kind of share some of the seeds that you have extra. And like, say if you harvested, like I harvested over 500 4 o'clock seeds last year.
And I actually have mine right here.
Yeah. So did they come okay? Are they damaged? Yeah. They look okay?
They're fine. And I actually have found a weird container that I am going to use to plant them for your collaboration. So I will be hopefully getting them planted this weekend.
Yeah, I need to check my hashtag for Weird Container Growing 25, see if anyone else has added a video. Yeah. It's pretty much going to go all the way through August 22nd, and then I'm going to schedule some kind of, I'll either schedule a giveaway if we get a lot of prizes donated, or if we don't get a lot of prizes donated, I may just make a video and use a comment picker or something. I don't know what I'm going to do, but it depends on how many prizes are donated for that. But I try to keep a constant, try to keep prizes available constantly so I can, because people donate toward my giveaways, so I try to be there for them and also donate to their giveaways. I don't know if y'all do that in your community, Echo, but we kind of do that in ours over here.
Yeah, the only people that have donated something is someone who was doing a collab with me, but I've never had really anybody. Well, no, you've donated to giveaways before.
Donated something once.
Yeah.
Remember what it was now? I have no idea. I've slept a couple of times since then. I actually got up and made a video this morning. Can you believe it?
Cool.
I finally got out to feed the chickens, but it's been raining out here all day. So,
Oh no.
but yeah, if you're catching this live like starting now, if you'll go back to the beginning, if you wanted to hear about the Ozark meetup, and maybe I can talk Echo into putting hashtag Ozark meetup 25 somewhere in her live. So
Yeah.
if anybody's
Okay.
looking for information, they can do a replay of her live. That would be really cool. And you're welcome to email me. If you put a question in the comment section of this video, this live after it posts, I'm pretty sure I can get Echo to screenshot that to me and I can get the information to you. So I want you
Definitely.
guys to be
And,
able to.
and I have the
Sometimes
information.
people don't come to meetups because they don't know they're happening, So I thought you got different people around you. Maybe someone's close enough they could go, and it'd be really fun. And you
Yeah.
can say, "Hey, Gail, I heard about the meetup, and here I am." That'd
Yeah.
be really cool. So I was on Butler Family Farm as a guest one night, and one of them had to walk away to go do something. And I decided to talk about the meetup for a few minutes on that live. And right after the live was done, I got an email from somebody asking about RV spots and stuff, and they literally booked it the next morning. And so I thought, well, that was easy. So if I could go on each live and get one person, that'd be really neat. So
Yeah.
it's a fairly new meetup. This will be the third year. I didn't go the first year. I went the second year, which was last year. This will be the third year. So it's a fairly new meetup. So we're still trying to kind of get awareness out there that it exists. I don't know if I got around to saying, did I mention the Web's Web where you can look up all the
Yeah.
meetups?
Web. I'm gonna is that a
Web's Web,
website or is that a channel?
it's a channel.
Channel. Okay.
It's a channel, Web's Web. And I
Okay.
think it's two B's, if I'm not mistaken. You can find people's live times on there. You can find meetups on there. So you might look. There may be a meetup that's closer to you than Missouri. There is also a meetup in Texas in October called Pinecone Fest. So I'm not co-hosting that one, but I go to it because it's the closest one to my house. It's like it's a few hours away, and we'll be staying in our camper for that one. So right now we're on 2 meetups per year, the same 2. I did go to one other meetup. My very first meetup I went to in Oklahoma, and my husband flew me to Missouri to Jan's house, and Jan picked me up at the airport, and we rode into the meetup together.
Oh wow, that would have been fun.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he did that so I could spend more time with her. And then later on that day, he drove in with the truck.
Oh wow.
So, because he was going to get in later and he knew I was going to miss a lot of stuff. So he flew me in. I rode in with Jan, and then we stayed in a hotel. And well, we actually had two beds in the thing. So she stayed in one of the beds, and hubby and I stayed in the other one. So we gave her a room for the night. So that was cool. And she didn't
Yeah.
have one. So that worked out. But that was a really fun meetup. That was my first one ever. The Crockers were actually at that meetup, if anybody knows who the Crockers are. And a lot of people, that was a huge, huge meetup. And I think they call it something else now. I think they call it Shoot Dang Fest or something like that. They have a catchy little shoot dang name for it. But anyway, this one is just the Ozark meetup. So I will be doing a live from the Ozark meetup. So, and probably a video. So if it's something you kind of want to see, you can also look on my channel. You can pull up Gail Southern Living Ozark meetup, and you can go and look at some video footage from last year if you want to see if it's something you're kind of interested in. Mostly people just sit around and talk about stuff, and it's cool. You get to know people because you see them once or twice a year. Like the Butlers, they go to both of the meetups that I go to. So I get to see Butler Family Farm like twice a year, and then we go up on each other's lives. So you feel like you really know them. And I talk to them on the phone sometimes, so some of these people have become my real friends. So it's really cool to be able to see them in person and, hug their neck and take a picture with them and, do all the things, make
Yeah.
our jokes and, just
So
have a good time.
how far is it from where you live to where the meetup is this time?
I don't know it in actual miles, but I know my hubby can drive it in one day. So basically, he'll put the cab over, it's a cab over camper, onto the truck, and he is off that day. We're going to drive in on a Wednesday, and so Friday night, Tuesday night, we'll get ready together, get everything ready. So all we have to do that morning is drive away in the camper, and we usually stop somewhere for breakfast. Of course, I usually have snacks in the car. I'm going to try to keep them healthy snacks. But I am going to try to allow myself to have a couple of, meals with my peers,
Yeah.
maybe a hamburger with an actual bun and stuff like that. Appear to be normal, though that's not a way I can eat normally. Like yesterday, I joined that hot dog collaboration. I don't know if you joined that one or not. I can't remember, but Tina's having that hot dog collaboration. And so I decided to make New England hot wieners as my hot dog. So because I lived in Rhode Island for a few years and I couldn't think of anything else to make for a hot dog recipe. I'm like, how can I make a hot dog special? I just don't know. So I was like, well, let me do that. New England. So that's what we had yesterday. So that was not a healthy meal.
Well, now down here in the South, they would put chili on it and then coleslaw on top of the chili.
Yeah, basically it's a bun. You put mustard on it. You put your hot dog. You put chili, and they do raw onions, but I actually did caramelize mine. And you put celery salt on it. That's the signature New England thing. So, well, I'm calling it celery salt, but mine is actually celery seed.
Yeah.
But what I did was I changed it a little bit in that I put a little bit right on top of the hot dog and then put the onions and then put a little bit more of the celery salt on top of it. So have that. I wanted to make sure I had that flavor. And I don't usually put mustard on my hot dog. But it was good. I really enjoyed it. Hubby really enjoyed it. But it was just for a collaboration, so not the way we eat normally. But
Yeah.
and then I wanted to try to make it fun. So I tried to pull off like a coffee milk to go with it because I didn't have fries. But I made it kind of a healthy one with a healthy sweetener. But anyway, I can't really figure out what their coffee syrup is. Maybe that's something you can buy there, or maybe it's something you can buy anywhere. I'm gonna have to look in the coffee section and see if I see something that says coffee syrup, because nobody would tell you what was in coffee syrup, because I thought about making that on the video too. I just kind of showed me pouring it in the glass as the pairing, because when I looked up the New England videos, they were pairing it with a coffee, milk, and fries. Well, I wasn't, don't eat fries now. So though that does sound delicious, though, you don't have stuff very often. It is nice to have some fries. I mean, I could go for some fries right now. But today I have been working on meal prepping. So usually it's the day after I go to the grocery store, I put the meat in the refrigerator and I get like boneless chicken thighs. I do that just to cut a little bit of the work out of it. I don't have to debone it too. And I take the boneless chicken thighs and I cut them in little bite-sized pieces, one chicken thigh. And then I put some teriyaki, sugar-free marinade, some bell pepper, and some onion all in a container. Then in the morning when I get up, I take it out and put it in the sink and let it thaw. And as soon as I'm done with this live, I'll put a little olive oil in the pan and cook it, eat that on a almond flour tortilla with some cheese and some tomato and maybe a little cottage cheese on the side for a little bit more protein. And that usually fills me up pretty good. So that's the kind of And it's so weird. I guess it's the Texas girl in me. I can literally eat chicken fajitas all the time. Now, I didn't really make these Hispanic type. They're actually teriyaki, sesame teriyaki, that G. Hughes brand. Have you ever brought any of his
Yes,
stuff?
yes.
I am a huge fan of that G. Hughes brand. He's got ketchup, barbecue sauce, all kinds of marinade.
Yeah, his
Matter of fact,
marinades are really good.
they put the stir fry marinade on sale at Walmart, so I kind of stocked up on them a little bit because I was thinking as I get my vegetables in the garden, I want to start using that in it and
Yeah,
make my own stir fries and
yeah.
adding some kind of meat to it, either chicken, usually probably chicken, but also could be little steak pieces too. But anyway, that's the kind of stuff I eat now. And the almond flours, it's that Cinti brand that they sell at Walmart in the frozen section. It is not cheap.
Mhm.
But I don't let hubby doesn't eat those. Those are only mine. Now, when I'm eating something with him, I buy the low carb mission tortillas, which are just kind of a little better option. And I share those with him because they're cheaper. But he knows that those tortillas are just mine because basically there's only 8 tortillas in there. They're basically $1 a tortilla, dude. Expensive.
Yeah.
So, but it's so hard to make tortillas. Tortillas are hard to make.
I've never tried. I've seen the recipes and I've always thought, that might be something to try. But I honestly don't even eat tortillas really. I
Yeah,
mean, I can have a tortilla if I want one, but I can't eat as much of the meat if I put the tortilla in there too.
true.
So for me, it's like, yeah, no, I don't really, I
Yeah.
don't really
What
want
we
it.
do
So
also is we'll make like a taco salad and I'll take like black beans and put that on the bottom. I'll do like hamburger meat with some kind of fajita or taco seasoning type thing and put lettuce and tomato and onions. I usually grill the onions and bell pepper because I don't eat raw bell
yeah.
pepper and they don't agree with me. And then I might put sour cream or guacamole or something like that on it and then make a plate of it. And hubby and
Mhm.
I will have our own uh, chip free taco salad.
Yeah.
So, and I got fresh. Actually, the very first thing I harvested in my yard was lettuce. So I have a whole half of a thing of just lettuce. So I'm harvesting my own lettuce now. So now,
Oh,
anytime I
wow.
want to do lettuce, I got that, and I'm hoping by the fall to have a hydroponic machine and be able to start growing my own lettuce and little tiny tomatoes in the fall and winter. So I could
Mhm.
basically have salad year round.
Have you tried doing your fajita on lettuce, like as a wrap with the lettuce leaf?
No, but I should. Uh, Once the lettuce that's out there gets tall enough, I might be able to do that
Hmm.
possibly because I've seen my sister do that. And that would be a good option too for taco night. Instead of having the tortillas, just have
Yes.
the pieces of lettuce and kind of just like scoop it up like that, and eat it.
Yeah.
But I see my sister do that, and yeah. But uh,
I like the crunch that you get, which I'll use like romaine lettuce leaf because they're pretty stiff, you know.
yeah, I don't
And
even know how many lettuce I have out there. When
I'll
I
do
get pricing,
a
I just put them
turkey,
all together.
like a turkey or chicken or tuna salad, kind of like, and then I'll
Mhm.
put it in the lettuce leaf, and that way you feel like you get a crunch, but yet it's just
That's a
like,
good idea. I didn't think about doing that for tuna salad, but that's a really good idea. I did realize that I ran out of canned tuna, so
mhm.
I'm going to add that. I do. I break it up by. Sometimes I'll have tuna salad. Sometimes I don't feel like eating, and I'll just have a shake, like a homemade protein shake. And
Mhm.
then also, I take the pound of beef and I break it in half and then I break the halves in half. So it's about 5 ounces. I figured out that's 5 ounces of meat. So I
Mhm.
take the pound of hamburger and make it into 4 lunches. and I'll bag that up. And so I'll either eat the chicken fajitas, I'll make like a beef taco kind of thing, uh, tuna. I can always do a salad or protein. Sometimes I might even, if I don't feel like it, I might just have uh, cottage cheese with a piece of fruit or a little bit of nuts or something. I might just have a little plate of that kind of stuff sometimes.
Have you tried the ground turkey in your taco set with the taco seasoning?
The nutritionist that I'm following
Mm-hmm.
has rated the beef over the turkey.
Mm-hmm.
And I prefer the flavor of the beef over the turkey. So I have stopped buying turkey
Huh.
because in her book, she has rated it over I don't remember what her explanation was,
Mm.
but I'm trying to follow her plan. I'll admit I've had some rough days. I've hit some rough patches. And I am a stress eater, so stress causes me to overeat. So I'm still struggling. Like I had just Jason Keto on there, and he is so like dedicated and so good with everything and like perfect. He seems perfect. I'm just not that. I'm on the struggle bus. I'm up and I'm down, and I'm up and I'm down. So I did get a decent amount of steps yesterday. Today is kind of like a nasty day. It's actually too nasty to walk in the backyard today. It's like flooding puddles everywhere because it rained.
Mm.
So I'll probably have to do the indoor track. I do have my tracker on. I actually even got so bad I took my tracker off. And then when I don't eat well, I also don't feel well. And
I
then
was just
it's
going to
on the
say, ask
inside.
you if you could tell the difference in your
Oh,
energy and
yes.
how you
My
feel.
energy, my attitude, all of it. Like if I don't eat right and I don't feel my spirit with God, those two things, if I don't have those two things, I'm off and I'm not right. And I have to work on getting myself right. So I'm trying to be conscious, drink your water, you know, don't skip your breakfast because then you'll eat something bad, and not having the bad food here. Now, I do have a container over there of cookies. They're not for me, they're for hubby. And
Mhm.
he knows he's supposed to come in here and eat his cookies and go back. He's not supposed to say, I'm hungry. That is like a dirty word. He's supposed to come in here and get his own snack
Have
and
you made
deal with
any of the protein cookies
no.
or the protein bites? I think they're protein balls or
Yeah,
protein bites.
he eats what I eat. Okay. If I'm eating healthy, he's eating healthy.
Yeah.
Okay. Um,
I just wondered
but
if you tried them because I want to
I'm
try
not
them,
going
but
to.
I kind of feel like it'll be
I have a lot of
I'll
recipes.
eat it because it'll be there. You know what I'm saying? If I
Yeah,
make it,
I have
then
on my
I'll eat
list
it.
that I want to try those egg bites. But there's a couple of ingredients I need for that. But I basically have a whole stack of cards. I write them on a card.
Mhm.
Then after I try them, if they're good, then I will laminate them and put them in my box. If they're not good, I will just rip them up and throw them away. So I basically try them before I laminate them because those laminator sheets are
Yeah,
not
are
cheap.
expensive. Yeah.
Yeah. So I make sure if I'm filling up a page of the laminating stuff, I make sure I fill the whole entire page because I'm frugal that way.
Yes,
So
we did that when my daughter was first out of college and getting ready to do her first teaching job. She wanted all these things for her classroom and everything, and I was like, "Well, you better laminate it
I
because,
love that laminating machine. I
it'll."
also love my shredder, but my shredder is actually it's a gardening tool. Actually, as soon as we finished the show we were watching last night, while we were watching it, I was breaking envelopes and tearing out the part that has the plastic, and hubby throws all the mail in there, and he doesn't sort it properly. So I have to go through and pull out all the window. I tear it in half where the window is. Then I tear off the back to get as much of the paper as I can to put in my garden. So, and they're saying, I've been told that the ink is not toxic. They're not allowed to make toxic ink anymore. I've been told that. So I'm following along with that plan, and I'm using our junk mail, but it can't have a plastic coating on it. So it has to be just paper. You know, I've even used colored paper, but just not plastic coating of paper. So I shredded a ton of stuff, and I walked out there. When I walked out there to feed the chickens, I'm like, I'm going to kill two birds with one stone. And I took the shredder thing and dumped it into my compost pile. I'm trying to learn how to build my own soil instead of buying it. And I'm not there yet. I'm still learning, but I'm working on it.
You're going to be a serious gardener one day, Miss Gail.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying.
Well, I
ask a lot of questions. So
I had all my little seedlings out on my patio and, you know, getting them ready. I'm going to start breaking them up and, you know, putting them in single pots and stuff. And then I get a notice saying that they're going to pressure wash the buildings, and I have to move everything off my patio. So all of my plant racks, my empty pots, everything is now in my living room until they get done outside. Because I was like, they are not going to hurt my little baby seedlings after I fought so hard for them to grow, you know.
Yes, I know.
So hopefully this weekend they'll be finished and I'll be able to get everything, you know, separated out a little bit and get it ready. But I've got the little trellisy things that I'm going to put in the bigger pots to be able to have my cucumbers have something to grow on. And I bought the tomato cages to be able to put those for the tomato plants. So I'm like all ready for it to be, you know, getting ready. And my cucumbers actually have the yellow flowers on them. So I was like, oh, yay.
You're ahead of me then. I do not have yellow flowers on my stuff yet. Any of my stuff.
I was surprised.
Some of them are good sizes, but I don't have any on my tomatoes or my tomatoes are literally just coming out of the ground. But where I planted them, hubby drove in some T-post, and so I do the tomatoes in that area every other year, and so it's actually on a wall, so it doesn't get as much sun, but it's Texas, so that will actually protect it, but it grows at a slower pace because of that. So tomatoes are kind of really more of a fall crop for me, but I have about two that are about 4 or 5 inches now. So.
I wanted to ask you too, are you on city water or well water? And what do you use to water your garden with?
I water it with the water hose.
But you use city water?
Yeah.
So it's chlorinated?
It is, yes.
It doesn't affect your plants?
You know,
I mean, as far as them growing, you know.
I don't know. There may be, you know, they may grow at a slower rate. Of course, I have to use what I have. I do have a compost tea kind of bucket out there that I let the rainwater fall in it. And I add leaves and plants and things with roots and stuff like that into there to make up a natural fertilizer. And after you've let it sit in that bucket for maybe 48 hours, the chlorination and stuff has gone away from it. But that's not something I do every day. I have to use what I have.
Well, see, the reason I asked you that,
they'll tell you got to use rainwater, but if you use, right now I'm being attacked by mosquitoes. So you have to do the best you can with what you have.
Right.
YouTube will offer you all the advice in the world, but you still have to use what you have and what you can afford.
Right.
And you just can't let people intimidate you. But you can ask me any question you want. But yeah, I
Yeah.
have city water. It has chemicals in it, and my plants grow just fine most of the time. Not that I'm perfect, but I get
Well,
enough. Not everything flourishes every year. Last year was a great year for ground cherries and Mariana tomatoes. Who knows what will be a good harvest for this year?
yeah.
We'll see.
Well, I have always, for my house plants, I have always had, like gallon jugs that I put the city water in, but I leave them open on the counter for like 48 hours before I use it. And supposedly that's supposed to let whatever kind of evaporate out.
I think
But
on a small
my
scale
thing is,
that would work, but as many plants as I have, that's
well,
not
this is what I
an
was
option.
going to say. Now that I'm doing the garden, the vegetable stuff, I'm like up to 1, 2, 3, 4, like 8 gallons of water sitting there, and I'm only watering every other day because of that, letting it sit for 48 hours. And I'm like,
The
what am I going
only
to do come summer when it's 100 degrees here in Georgia and
people
I
are
have to water
asking
every
you
day?
to do more than you can. Also, leaving a bunch of water sitting around makes your mosquitoes worse because they breed in it and do their stuff. So
Well, no,
I do
well,
have
it's
my
inside.
compost bucket and I have my cat watering thing, but there's no way. Not only that, my back could not handle lifting that much
Toting
water.
it. Yeah.
I hose water. I hose water, guys. Guess what? My plants grow and I use the hose.
Because I
And
thought
my
about
city
that. I
water,
thought about putting
it
something
still goes.
outside to catch the rainwater,
It
but
would be
two
nice.
problems with that. Number one, these apartments have really good gutter system to where
Yeah,
the water doesn't just run off the roof. So it would have to be like out far enough away from the building for the rain to be able to fall in the bucket or whatever.
yeah,
And then number two, it doesn't rain that much here in Georgia. So
yeah,
it's like I would be waiting forever for it to
yeah,
rain and hope and pray I caught some water. So I can't do that. I can't rely on
yeah,
rainwater. I'm
yeah.
gonna have
I mean,
to,
that's a
you know,
great option for some people in the
yeah,
country who have tons of barrels. For you being a city gardener and B being a city gardener, that's really not something we can do.
yeah,
Not only that, laying around a bunch of water is just going to cause your mosquitoes because they're already attacking me like crazy out there.
yeah.
Every time I water, I'm literally considering putting on a long sleeve shirt and some long stretchy pants and being sure my socks are tucked in so the only part of my skin they can touch is my neck or my face
Mm,
because it's that bad
that
right
bad.
now because of
Wow.
the rain too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, people will give you have to break it down into what you can actually do. If you're going to leave a bucket of water in your backyard, use it as your compost tea and add leaves and weeds you've pulled up and things like that in it and water it with that. And that would be more like a once a week or once every other week kind of thing. If you're gonna leave a bucket of water, I'd do that. Like right now, I had just got through watering stuff with the compost tea. It gets rainwater when God waters it for me. It gets the compost tea water, but it also gets good old city chemical filled water because that's what I have. I have to use what I have. I'm not shipping in water without chemicals. I can't afford that. So gotta do what I gotta do.
Well, and we went this past weekend to PetSmart because my granddaughter wanted a goldfish. And so I was going to buy a goldfish bowl and a goldfish. And the lady at PetSmart would not let me because she wanted me to buy a tank because she said that the water, it would be too many, you have to change the water too much and too much ammonia in there and it would kill the goldfish. So I ended up getting a betta fish and a bigger bowl. But she said I couldn't use city water for the fish either, that I had to get like spring water for the fish.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, because I didn't want it to die in the first couple of days, because my granddaughter
Yeah.
would be upset then. So I
Yeah.
do get the spring water, and this is Wednesday, so the fish has been with us since Sunday, 3 days, and it's still alive. So I guess we're doing okay with
Yeah.
it. But
We do have to buy specific water for our fish. Hubby takes care of the fish because he had it before we were together. But it also has a pump on it that
mhm,
keeps the oxygen in the water, I think.
yeah.
Um, he
I
takes
don't,
care
I
of
don't want to
all
have to go through a tank, and not for one fish. I
that.
wasn't going to
Yeah.
do that whole aquarium
And I
setup.
think it's like, if I'm not mistaken, it would be like distilled water, like the kind you would buy for a nursery. I
Well, she
just
told
bought
me spring
some.
water as long as it didn't have chlorine in it.
Yeah, what I use, well, I just made a recipe, and I used nursery water. Is it says distilled water on it?
Hmm.
I'm guessing something like that would work too because there's no chemicals in it.
Yeah,
So I don't know. And that was only $1.24 at Walmart for a gallon. So
yeah. But I was just like, okay. And I almost got
yeah,
mad at the lady at PetSmart because I'm like, I understand what she was telling me, but also my granddaughter had her heart set on getting a goldfish. She
yeah,
didn't want a red or blue betta fish. She wanted a goldfish because she watches Peppa Pig, and Peppa Pig has a goldfish named Goldie. And so
yeah,
she had it in her mind she was getting a goldfish and going to name it Goldie. And then
yeah.
so when we get there and the lady's like, nope, can't do that. Got to have an aquarium. And I'm like, I'm not getting an aquarium set up for one fish. So then she was like, well, now you can put a betta fish in a bowl. They don't even care if their water's, dirty or whatever. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
In
we'll get
some
the betta
cases,
fish.
some fish do better in dirty water than clean water. That's the thing people think. Oh, you're neglecting the fish. Some fish actually do better in dirty water.
Well,
They like their own stuff in the, I
stuff
don't
in
know.
the
I
water,
don't, I
yeah.
can't explain it. I can't explain why, but I mean, I hear stuff and I don't know how to intelligently explain things, but I mean, I know things, I just don't know how to explain them always. Like, even when I'm explaining gardening, I don't always like know how to explain all that either. You know what I mean? I'm like, I just listen and I know it and I ask questions. I'm not embarrassed to ask questions about gardening from anybody. And then I decide if that's an answer that sounds good or not to me. So, but yeah, people will give you tons of opinions, but you just got to do what you can do. So, but I'm learning. I'm still learning. Like, I tried to work on growing my own soil instead of buying soil bags at Walmart,
Hmm.
but I'm not there yet. It's not because if you hit a certain level in my ground, it's clay. So
That's what it is here,
I
that Georgia red
actually,
clay.
I've been raking up the leaves up there, and I didn't do this last year, but this year I'm adding the shredded paper. Like, I'll pour the coffee grounds into the compost tea bucket, but I'll take the filter and put it in the leaves, and then I'll bury it up underneath there.
Hmm.
Also, you can add your banana peels after you wash the chemicals off of them. You can add that in your compost tea bucket too. But anyway, I've done compost tea before, but I don't think I did it last year. Last year, I actually got attacked by some bugs. So this year, I tried to focus on all the plants that protect, all the herbs and flowers that protect your plants.
Yeah.
So every year, whatever problem I had in the garden in the fall and winter, I try to research that subject and learn and teach it back and be better the next year. And hopefully the video I make will help somebody else who also maybe had that same problem.
Yeah, and it really does make a difference what zone you're in, what your climate's like, and
Yep.
all of that kind of stuff. Because I mean, it was even funny when I went to one like a Tractor Supply type store because I was looking for a certain kind of seed, and I went in there, and I mean, we looked, they had rack after rack after rack, and they did not have the seeds that I wanted. And
Mhm.
so I done figured that out, that next year I'm going to have to order seeds early, you know, to get, if I want a certain kind, because I mean, I bought like tons of seeds, and I don't even know if I'm going to get what I wanted to grow. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I may have to,
Yeah.
you
I
know.
add them to my Amazon wish list. Sometimes I have a Christmas Amazon wish list,
I want to say
and I
my
add them
dad
to.
had some kind of seed catalog, and I can remember him going through and like making an order
Yeah,
of like all these different things.
yeah. I don't know if any of those Baker's Creek or anything are by your house.
I
I
never heard
buy
of
like
them. I don't think.
basic herbs and basic flowers. I buy at Dollar Tree, and they work just fine.
Yeah.
I also join. There's a seed swap. I joined Indiana Backyard Gardener puts it,
Gardner, yes, I heard about that
and
this past year.
she, you're okay. I sent more than that, but what you're supposed to send is 3 packages of seed that have at least 10 seeds in them, and then you send her a list of 5 seeds, and literally, you ask for 5 seeds, and you get like 35 seeds. You know what I mean? Um, and you just send things that you have extra of, or somebody gave you something you don't like, or because people send me peppers all the time. I don't eat peppers. So what I'll do is I'll take that pack of peppers, I'll get some of those little tiny seed bags, and you can find them in the
Mhm.
jewelry department at Walmart. You can buy them there for
Yeah.
seeds. But that's what I use because it's easy. And I'll take that pack of seeds and put it into 3 or 4 bags of 12 or 20 seeds. And then I'll put what it is and my channel name on the backside. And I do that kind of stuff all the time. So
Mhm.
all about that sharing, and you're giving out stuff that's extra or that you don't grow that people gave you, or maybe you just ended up with too much of something, or maybe you're just cleaning out your thing thinking, well, I didn't grow that this year. Maybe I need to just go ahead and get rid of it. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, that's what I
Well,
wanted to talk about today was the meetup, but
yeah.
it's,
Well,
it's nice
I'm
talking to
glad
you.
that you wanted to talk about it. I wish that I was closer or had a better, a way to get there, but I don't. But I will go on that website or the channel, Web's Web, and try to see if there's any. I know that there was one in March in Helen, Georgia, which is still a drive for me. And I know that there's one, I want to say there's one somewhere um, between Georgia and Florida, but I'm not exactly sure where.
Yeah. Tonight, Healthy Goals Wednesday will be on Milk and Honey Heritage Farms. She's still trying to reach the level 1 of her monetization. So they're going to be on her channel temporarily because I'm not paying for StreamYard right now. And so we're going to do them on her channel until she reaches that top level. Then after that, we're going to do it every other one.
Okay.
Fridays, I'm going to be doing by myself, but probably having a guest. So maybe I can have you on talk about something on a Friday if you're interested.
Okay.
However, I'll admit you're not going to be able to stream on your channel because
That's
I
okay.
don't have paid StreamYard anymore. So
That's
that's
okay.
I had to get a couple of things I needed for the meetup. I wanted to order some channel stickers. So I had to kind of set my priorities. And right now, the next thing in line is the Ozark meetup. And I wanted to be able to hand out channel stickers and advertise my channel because there will be some new channels there that I've never met before. And I want to be able to give everybody a sticker. And so that'll be cool. And I think you're a member on one of my channels, so I'll probably try to send you one
And
as
I'm on Broken Hearts Ministry,
well.
but I have your Gail Southern Living sticker.
Okay, so I need to send you a Broken Hearts Ministry sticker.
Yeah.
Do you have the one with the kitty cat on it? The
Yeah.
Southern Living? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'll try to I'll have a few extras of that, so I'll probably try to send some out to members that don't have one.
I've got
Because
to redesign mine because
it's the
I've
same.
changed it enough that I want to do new ones, and I want to redo all my merch, and so all of that is on hold until I don't have my granddaughter every day,
I need
and
to make that
then
a fall project.
yeah,
I need to
then
put
I'm
that
going
in
to
the
be able
list.
to have time to get that stuff going better, and I need to do on both my other two channels. I haven't been posting anything on them because I just don't have time. So I
Yeah.
do want to get, to where I can do all three channels. But it's just when you have, because really, even though I don't get paid, I have a full-time job taking care of my granddaughter, and it's like,
This is a full-time job too.
but in the evening after I'm done taking care of her, it's like,
Videos.
I still have housework to do. I still have to cook. I still have to do this. I have to do that. And then it's just like, I'll be tired. I'm like, I don't want to do anything,
I
So,
know, I know. I can't believe it. The only reason I got up and made that video today was I knew I was going to be on live today with you, and my hair was sticking up like this. So I knew I had to like put some makeup on and like calm the hair down because I was looking crazy this morning. So it's like, people don't want to see all that. So it's like, so I got up and did my hair and makeup for that. And I thought, well, I already got my hair and makeup out. I already had set out my ingredients for my recipe I was making. And so I'm like, you know what? Let's go ahead and throw that video out, get it done. I've been wanting to do this video like a couple of years. And finally I got the stuff. I'm like, okay, we're doing this. So I got that video that'll post next week, but it is not a healthy recipe, but it's just one I wanted to do. And I do occasionally do ones that aren't healthy because I join collaborations and,
yeah.
just occasionally stuff. But
Well,
anyway.
and I mean, it's like we talked about before. The best diet plan is something that you're going to stick to.
Yeah.
And you've got to give yourself some leeway
A little
somewhere, because
Yeah.
if you don't, you won't stick to it. And then you'll be like you were saying, you couldn't eat the yogurt for a while because you just got burnt out
Actually,
on
I
it.
put it on my list to buy Greek yogurt next payday because I think I've gone long enough now that I can probably start to eat it again. And I'm going to try to limit myself a little bit, but I want to eat the container. I actually checked the container that was in there and I ended up throwing it out this morning. Because like I said, I burned out on the yogurt, but it's so weird, but I can still eat the cottage cheese and I didn't burn out on that.
See, and I don't know what it is about cottage cheese, but when you mix it into things, it doesn't taste like anything. You know what I'm saying? So many people are like, it has
I
cottage
actually
cheese
don't
in
mix
it.
it into anything. I just eat it plain.
Well, I
I'll make
wouldn't mind plain too,
fajitas
but
and
I like
have a
a little
slice.
pepper on it.
Sometimes now when I'm hungry, instead of going in the refrigerator and having something bad, because I'm the only one that eats the cottage cheese, sometimes I'll get out the container and take 3 or 4 bites and put it back in because I figure if I'm hungry, I need protein. So
Yeah.
that's a little habit that I've gotten into just to keep myself from doing something else. So.
Yeah, and it's so weird now for me because I can only eat so little at a time, and it's like even yesterday, like I'll buy like a roast and I'll get it cut in like 4 pieces. And I have the little bitty crock pot. And so I'll have this piece of meat and I'll make it in the crock pot. And like yesterday, it was so tender in there when it got finished. And I wanted to eat it so bad. But I mean, after a couple of bites, I was like, I am too full. I cannot eat this, but I can eat it another time.
Yeah,
But,
you probably eat on that piece of meat for a few days, but
yeah.
now,
And before, I would have had to put all kinds of
roast.
vegetables in there with it. And I would have made a whole big roast.
I think I've done that roast video before, but this is my theory on YouTube. If you did something a year ago or 2 or 3 years ago on your channel, guess what? You can do it again because you got new people. So if I've already done the roast video, it doesn't even matter. I used to pay attention to that. Now I'm like, okay, how long has it been since the last time I posted that video? And then if it's been a year, I'll do it again. I mean, it's new people, it's different stuff.
Yeah.
But I only have a certain amount of recipes and I have to look up. Basically right here here's a stack of recipes I have to do. These are all recipes I have to do. So I did one this morning. So I can now put that card into the thing because, well, I'm pretty sure that one's going to turn out good. Some of these you never know. But I just
Yeah, I hate doing a
egg whites
recipe
is
that
one I want
doesn't
to
have
try.
a picture because I want it. I want to see what it's supposed to look like because sometimes, it doesn't. When it turns out, you're like, I don't know if I did that right or not.
I actually have everything for this recipe. It's called egg bites.
Egg bites, yeah,
Egg whites, and you put eggs and salt, pepper, cottage cheese, Parmesan cheese, sharp cheddar cheese, and spinach.
yeah. Oh,
I
that
get
sounds
some.
like making a spinach quiche.
Yeah,
Ooh,
it's
a crushed
basically like a
spinach
mini.
quiche.
You'd make this in like your muffin tin to where
Yeah,
it bites, and then that. Well, for you, that would probably be a meal. A meal.
yeah.
That whole thing would be a meal.
And
So
I
if
make I
you
make the
like this,
mini meatloaves in the
it could be
muffin
your
tin.
lunch. If you put aside, it could be you could put it with a salad and eat it with your dinner. I mean, you could eat this really any time of the day,
Hmm.
and you could even add some meat to it, if
And
you
you
wanted
can
to.
you can do almost the same recipe that you use to make an egg bite, maybe not with the cheeses, but the cottage cheese and the egg, and then you can put some rolled oats in it, and then put either like blueberries or raspberries, and then you bake it, and it comes out like a coffee cake or kind of like a sweet, um, like along the lines of like a coffee cake or a
Do you have a
pastry.
video? Do you have a video of
I
that?
haven't done the video on it yet, but
Do
I've
you
made
do you have a
the
written recipe of that?
I have the recipe somewhere. Yeah.
I'd love that. I won't post it. I just want to make it. I mean, I'm constantly looking for recipes. This one I do intend to post. And you know what? I have all this stuff. So technically, I could make this for breakfast in the morning, make it now, and go ahead and post this video up because I think I didn't have the Parmesan cheese last time, so I didn't make it. But yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I'm
have you?
thinking you could make it in you could make it in those muffin cups and spray the liners and make it like in you know what I mean? Like in a
Yeah,
muffin cup.
yeah,
And then you could store them in the refrigerator or you could maybe even put them in the freezer and take them out as already prepped meals.
yeah.
I'm excited. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be a good recipe. I'm looking forward to it. Be a
The
neat breakfast idea. You could just pop it in the microwave for a minute
Yeah,
and boom, there's your breakfast. And or maybe two. In my case, in your case, it's one. In my case, it might be two because I need to get enough protein to make
right.
my belly feel
I was
full.
going to suggest adding in like I don't know how many eggs it takes, but even doing like a little bit of the liquid egg whites, like do so many eggs and then add the liquid egg whites because not only does it give you more volume, but it doesn't give you the calories as much as it gives you the protein part.
Yeah, that's
So that's a good way to kind of
good
stretch those
suggestion.
eggs too.
Yeah. Eggs are not something I lack because I have
Oh,
chickens. So
that's right. You have chickens.
that's the only part of me that's really homesteady is that I do garden and I do have backyard chickens. But technically I live in a small city and I do cooking because a lot of homesteading channels do cooking.
Mm.
But the only animals I have are cats, chicken, and one fish. That's it. That's all that I don't have goats, llamas, donkeys, cows.
I don't think I could. I have a dog and now I have a betta fish. But
Yeah, there's a
when
lot
my
of
daughter was a
animals.
kid, I mean, we had turtles and hamsters and guinea pigs and just I did the aquarium thing about 3 different times, and she had cats and she had dogs and rabbits, and I mean, now with me, it's like a dog is enough of a responsibility, just
Yeah.
the dog.
You know, a pet that would be fairly easy that she would really like a hamster.
Well, and my daughter even looked at the
I
uh
did those a long time ago, like 20 years ago. We had a hamster and they have those little hamster wheels where they could roll around the room, you
yeah,
know.
She
Then
she looked at guinea pigs because she had a guinea pig when she was little, and then later on she got gerbils and she had hamsters. She had both of
and they're
those.
small enough they can hold them, but you got to hold them often or they'll get wild, just like
Yeah,
chickens. You know, anything that you handle it more and love on it more, it's going to be more loving. If you don't, it's going to be wild and it's going to bite you. So that's the thing about hamsters. If you're going to have a hamster, you need to hold it a lot so it'll won't be biting you.
yeah, yeah. Well, and we had the those ultrasonic electric pest things that you plug in the outlet,
Mhm.
and it killed one of her gerbils. Yeah,
Probably,
so you got to
well,
be careful of that too.
we have those lighted they're you plug them in and they're on the floor. We have 3 of them, I think. They're light, and what they do is they draw bugs. Okay, it could be flies, it could be fleas, it could be roaches, it could be anything, but they sell them on the internet.
Hmm.
It could be fruit flies or gnats, any kind of a little pest like that. They'll crawl onto the light draws them, and then it's in a circle and they crawl into it and they die because they get stuck on
Oh,
sticky paper. They're coming to the light. And we have them, actually, we had them off for the fall and winter because we don't have such flea stuff then.
mhm.
And at the time, we had 2 cats in the house. One of them passed away, so now we only have one. But he basically just turned it on because this is that time of year, so we had to put the flea collars on. I didn't use it yet, but I bought some of that stuff you put on the back of their neck. And unfortunately, I haven't found any good home remedies, but we found that, and that seems to work really well. And you just have to keep changing out that sticky paper because, you know, as you get fruits and vegetables in your house laying around, that draws in those gnats and things. But it will solve a lot of problems. So, if any of you guys that listen to me hear that, look it up on Amazon or send me an email, and I'll try to find you a link for it. But it works really well. We love it. We just started that last summer, huh?
I said we don't have a big flea problem down here in South Georgia. Now I get a lot of spiders,
Spider.
and I don't really know why I have so many spiders. But the only thing I can figure is that they tore down the woods to build these apartments, and then they put in this huge retention pond, and I'm on the bottom floor on the corner right next to the pond. And
Yeah.
I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not, but it just seems like none of my neighbors complain about the spiders, but I have spiders. I don't know. It's weird.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
not they don't bother me or anything, and
I
they're
kind of
like
do
the,
like hubby was going to kill one of the spiders that was in my ground cherry bed last year, and I told him not to. I said when I had such bad bug problems in the garden, I said those spiders were eating the bad bugs. I said leave them suckers alone. What I did was I harvested the ground cherries and I just didn't stick my hand in there, and I let it be, and I watched it though because I don't like spiders, but I didn't let him kill it because I knew they were killing bad bugs. And literally, when my garden got eat up by bugs last year, that was the last thing they touched.
oh wow.
And I could swear it was because of the spiders, but also I have dill planted in that area, and they repel bugs too. So between the spider and the dill, I was good.
Yeah. Didn't you tell me to do basil under my tomatoes?
Basil with your tomatoes. Yep.
Okay.
Also, marigolds are great repelling. My top 3 repelling are radishes because they come up the fastest. Marigolds come up the next fastest, and then basil takes a while. So I've decided next year I'm going to do radishes everywhere, even if you don't eat them.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge radish person, but I probably do something with them because I have so many. But I do radishes first because I got some of those mammoth radishes from Jennifer Ocean Homestead from her collaboration. And I planted a ton of them out in the wild garden to protect my pumpkins out there, because pumpkins are in the squash family. And so I just have a layer of protection going around. I also did calendula and some nasturtiums, and I did all the things. But my basil is just now coming up in the garden, and I planted it a while back. So I think
my
next year,
basil's not doing, I mean, it's not doing that terrific yet, but I really think I need to get it outside. But like I said, I put everything out there for like 2 days, and then I had to bring it all back in the house. So
yeah, as soon as you pull the radish, though, you've pulled the protection.
yeah,
Because I had it with some eggplant I was trying to grow. And as soon as I pulled that radish, the smell of that was gone and they attacked it. So so radishes do work. As soon as I pulled it, the bugs
you'd
attacked.
almost have to like plant some and then wait a while and plant some
That's
more.
what
So,
okay.
like,
I
as
have
you
some that
pick
need to
them
be
out.
harvested out there that are big, but I can't pull them yet. So what I did was, where in the places where I needed to harvest the radishes, I planted more. And once those get up a little bit, then I'll go ahead and harvest the others. Or I may have
Yeah.
to just harvest one out of each thing so that there's still some there, because I don't want things to get attacked. But they don't like the smell of radishes, or maybe the taste of the radish or the leaf on the radish. So
That's so
radishes,
interesting. Hey,
just stuff I'm
Nisha,
learning.
it really is interesting though, all of that as far as, what you can do about pests and,
Yeah, and I
all of
try to
that.
do everything organic. I don't really want to add poison,
Chemicals,
because
yeah.
if I'm going to be adding poison to my vegetables, I might as well go to Walmart and buy it. That's
Yeah.
already covered. Which everybody, if you're in here, wash your vegetables, wash your fruits. If you're going to use your banana peels in the garden, this sounds really weird, but try to wash off all those chemicals with some warm water first, because you don't want to put chemicals, as much as you can. Of course, I got
Yeah.
to do my water chemicals, because I'm not going to be bucketing water out to all that. This isn't Little House on the Prairie. I'm not bucketing.
Yeah. Well, but if you had a well though,
Yeah,
I'm sure they sell pumps. You could hook a pump to the well and have the
yeah,
hose and,
yeah. We'll
do it
see. A lot
that way
of
anyway. But
friends have that, but that's not an option for me. So
no, me neither.
so
So
it's okay. It works just fine the way it is, and I
yeah.
try to get as much rainwater in it as I can. And I believe that compost tea, it stinks, but yeah, I believe that compost tea works, because I think God gave us everything we needed to fertilize our garden, because that's why things in the forest still grow, because the leaves fall and the sticks fall and the things die there, even animals, like
Hmm.
now when our chickens die, if they're okay, so if a chicken died in the summer, hubby would be like, okay, what area are you not using right now? And he'll put it into a planting area, because that chicken is also hard to say, and people don't like to hear it. And I didn't love it at first, but I'm getting better with it. But that chicken also fertilizes the ground.
Yeah.
But he'll take it and he'll cover it with cardboard and put bricks on it, because he didn't want it to get dug up.
Yeah.
And then after it's composted under that cardboard for the whole year, then we'll pull up the cardboard and plant in there. I just try not to dig in those sections, because I don't want to find anything. But
Yeah.
yeah, sad.
Well, how
But
many chickens did you start out with, and how many do you have now?
our first that we had was 6. We've got probably 4 sets, and a few that were given to us. Right now we have 13. We have 10 in the main coop and 3 in the small coop. And the small coop started because somebody gave us a chicken and she was too small to be with the others, and I didn't want her to get picked on. So I left her in there, and I got sad, and I was like, I don't want her to be lonely. So I pulled the 2 hens that were the bottom of the pecking order, that I thought would be docile and not mean to her, and put those 2 chickens in with her. So Paris is in with Brownie, and Veda. So, and then I have the other 10 over there. And our very first set of chickens, Mocha was in our first set, and she used to be the top of the pecking order. But as she's gotten older, she's now the bottom of the pecking order. And I tried to put her in there with the bottom of the pecking order, but guess what? She tried to be mean all over again. I said, well, Mocha, if you can't behave, you can't be in there these are for the bully chickens. But if you're going to be the bully, you got to go back in there. Yeah. It's like, I love you, chicken, but goodness gracious,
Yeah.
So, and I know that's all in nature and it's supposed to be that way. And it's taken a while to get tough enough to do the chicken thing, but it used to hit me because one time we had 4 chickens killed. 2 were ones we had for a while, and 2 were just getting their feathers. So they were new. They had not even laid yet. And then 2 of the older ones. So we have 4 chickens killed by a raccoon. So after that, we got live cages and we started catching. So basically, we've caught raccoons, we've caught skunks, we've caught possums, we caught a cat once. And hubby will take a blanket over the top of the skunk cage and he'll put it in the back of his truck and he'll partially remove the cover a little bit, open that little gate, and it'll take off running. And he just never got sprayed. So,
oh, that's good.
He just basically rehomes them somewhere else. We don't kill them or anything.
Yeah.
But gotta admit, I was very angry with the one who killed my 4 chickens.
I bet. See, and I would get, even though you're going to eat the eggs, and I don't know if you're ever going to eat the chickens, but still, I would get attached to them as pets.
We're not going to eat the chickens. Now, if the world goes crazy and the food gets scarce and I have to eat them, I will. But I'm going to start with the mean ones first.
Yeah.
Just kidding. No. But no, I don't intend to eat them. As a matter of fact, most people rotate their chickens in and out. And if they stop laying and get older, they'll get rid of them. I don't do that. Basically, once I've chosen the chicken will be here till it dies. If it stops laying, it gets fed just like the others. It started here and it will end here, and it will get buried back in the garden to give back to the earth. But yeah, that's what he does now. He'll be like, okay, well, where can I bury this one? Because it's easier to kind of pick an area that's already kind of been rotated a little. It's easier to dig up in the ground there. So that's his process now. He'll be like, okay, where are we burying this one at? So
how many eggs do you get a day?
Right now I think I'm on about 8 or 9 out of 13 chickens.
That's pretty good though.
Yeah, I think so. I told, coming out of the winter, they slow down. I managed to get through the whole entire winter not having to buy eggs at all. They laid enough. They slowed down. And once we got out of that, I was like, well, if I start getting at least 6 a day, I won't get new chickens this year and we'll just stick with what we have. So then I started getting, little bit by little bit. And finally it was 6, 8, 9. And I was like, okay, we're good. That's all I really need. So we have enough for us. And we also sell a few at his job. It's not really profit because of the cost of the feed. It's really more reimbursing for some of the feed.
Yeah.
But right now we have 13. So, a good 7 to 9 eggs out of 13 chickens is not bad. And like I said, some of them are old. They're the original generation. We still have Mocha, Brownie, and Poppy. We still have 3 out of the original 6.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Yep. And I did see, actually, I saw Mocha in a nesting box. So that means she's still laying. And I saw Brownie in a nesting box. Not sure about Poppy. Not too sure about Poppy, but
But you don't have any chicks. I mean, your
No,
eggs don't turn into chicks.
no, we don't have a rooster to fertilize. I'm a little too soft-hearted to watch the rooster. The rooster likes to pick on their heads,
Mm,
and the other hens pick on each other on the head too. I
mm,
don't like to watch the bullying. And we tried to do roosters twice, and they're too mean, and I'm too soft-hearted to watch that. And one of the roosters killed one of my favorite hens, Penelope, and I wasn't very happy. So I don't do roosters. So we just buy our chicks at Tractor Supply when we need them. We buy them in groups of 6. We buy half dozen at a time because we're not a big farm. We're just a backyard.
yeah.
And I think 13, I think 14 was our max. 14 was our max. We've never gone over 14.
Hmm.
I think we lost one chicken last year. It's pretty much normal to lose maybe one per year. And like I said, some of mine are pretty old, so it's very possible, to lose. One summer we lost 2. I went on a trip and hubby had to take care of everything by himself, and he wasn't here to water all day long like I do. So a couple of chickens died that year. So that was sad. I was
Yeah.
like, now I don't want to go on a trip.
I
But
was
now,
going to say, yeah, what do you do when you do go on a trip?
so when we go to the meetups, we have 3 cats. So one is indoor and 2 are outdoor. And then we have chickens. So what we do is we leave the back door open where they can get into the utility room where is our chicken feed. And we just also leave our cat food out there. The inside cat, we basically give him a big bowl of food and a whole bunch of water and leave the toilet up too, just in case. And we just let him stay in the house while we're gone. And
Hmm.
that's fine for a cat.
Yeah.
2 outside get fed when the people come over. We also leave them with a lot of food and make sure they have lots of water. Then that person comes over and waters the chickens. We also try to set out extra containers and stuff to make sure, especially, the summer stuff. So we have basically a chicken cat sitter.
Yeah.
And when we come back from our trip, we usually bring them some kind of a goodie, you know, souvenir. We
Yeah.
bring them a souvenir. So, but I got to get my utility room cleaned up because it is a hot mess, and I don't want anybody in there right now. That's on my spring cleaning list, right outside here, because it's not a normal part of the house. It's just where I keep my washer dryer. There's some shelves in there that have gardening stuff, and then I have my little grow station in there, which I'm hoping next year in the fall to be able to start hydroponics and buy a hydroponic machine. So I'm going to move my indoor growing into the dining room. And I have an old fashioned baker's rack / microwave stand. And basically there's 3 shelves on it. And I was thinking you could basically put 2 on each shelf. So that would be like 6. And
Hmm.
then I thought at the beginning I could just start on the shelf that has the wood first. And then the one that has the biggest area, I thought I could put my grow light down there until I get some more machines and just do my grow light station down underneath. And because I have a cat, I may try to rig up some kind of a plastic covering just for the bottom one to kind of keep him out of it. I don't think he'll mess with it. But just in case, I don't really know yet, but I'm basically going to move, and it'll be warmer. And cause I have trouble sometimes getting peppers because my grow station's right by the back door. So when it's cold, it gets that burst of cold, which I did manage to get up, oregano, marigolds, and one other thing, but my basil never came up. Oh, and my bell peppers. I did get 2 bell peppers up. So right now I have 1 grow light. So I can only get whatever will fit underneath that grow light. So this will give me more space for growing. I'm figuring I could put a tomato on the bottom because there's a bigger space for the grow light. Put a tomato there on the bottom and let the tomato grow there. And then inside the hydroponics, I could grow like lettuce and herbs and, nothing vining, but, you could grow lettuce and kale and, parsley or
Maybe
basil or
spinach
whatever.
even. I don't know about
Yeah,
spinach.
spinach. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's a great idea. Lettuce, spinach, and kale. That would be a nice salad. And then
Mm-hmm.
my tomatoes on the bottom. That would be so cool. So I'm hoping to start that for my fall content of the year. I try to plan for whatever's coming. Of course, we know Fall Fest is coming.
Yes, Fall Fest. Got to
Fall
do Fall
Fest.
Fest.
So what I'm going to do with Fall Fest this year is I'm going to have, I've done it where it's kind of gone into 2 different months. I'm going to have it where it starts in October and also ends in October. I'm going to kind of shorten the time period that they can comment. I'm going to shorten things a little bit and try to get it all wrapped up in 1 month and not have it straggling over several,
Yeah.
So I always tweak the rules just a little bit every year. And I'm always open to suggestions. If you have anything and you were in it, you can email me a suggestion. I'll take it into advisement. And sometimes people suggest things that are a little too much, and that's okay. That's okay. I'll just say somebody made a suggestion to only let people get picked once as a semifinalist, and that would be great if it happened naturally. But I don't think it's fair to punish the people who took the time to comment on those videos by limiting them.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, the people that have won every time were only a semifinalist once.
Huh.
Far as I know. I think no. Okay, out of the 3 winners, 1 was a semifinalist twice. The other 2 were semifinalists only on 1 channel.
Mm-hmm.
So that one time
I
on
was
the
going to say, was there that many people that were semifinalists on more than one channel?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think 3 is usually the most. It's usually the max. You know what I mean? But I do a little tweaks every year, but the basic rules are going to be the same.
So in other words, they're saying that gave them an unfair advantage because they had like 3 chances to win it instead of only 1 chance.
To me, they made more comments. They deserve it.
Yeah, they deserve to have more of a chance.
But that's just my opinion. So I will listen to the suggestions, but then it comes down to it is my collaboration, and I kind of have to make up my mind on stuff, There were some good suggestions made. Somebody suggested to make an email for just the collaboration, and I am considering that to where my Fall Fest emails do not get mixed up with my other collaboration emails, because I'm still entering other collaborations in October, and all that gets jumbled up.
Yeah.
And it has to have a dedicated.
Right. And then you would know if it's for Fall Fest, it'll be in that channel, email.
I take the suggestions and I think about them and I decide, is it fair? Is it right? Is it better? And I just go through all the different thoughts of it. But I do consider it, but that doesn't mean, but it's still me, and I still have to still has to be me. But, I consider not doing it anymore because I'm like, oh, my channel's big enough. I don't need any more subscribers, But if you look at my graph,
it's a lot of fun though.
The graph that has what months are higher and lower. Literally, my October's up here. My other months are like here.
Yeah.
So I mean, why am I going to stop? It's good for my channel. People comment more on my channel. People make new friends. It helps new channels. It's fun. Last year, people even did costumes, which you totally don't have to do. But wasn't that fun to watch the people who did stuff like that? That was so much fun.
Yeah, that was my very first collaboration ever. And it was so much fun.
I thought it was fun. And I want it to be fun. And I don't want it to be so bogged down with rules that people don't want to do it, because honestly, the rules are there to protect you. If you don't want to call out the rules in your video, don't. I don't care. Show your backyard. I don't care what you do in your video. You could talk about your channel for 3 minutes if you want to. It doesn't matter to me. As long as you get the hashtag right, we're good, man. If you don't put it in the description box, I don't care. You know what? That's there to protect you. If you don't want to do it, don't. As long as you get the hashtag, that's the only thing you have to do. You have to make sure I see it, and you have to put the hashtag so I can include it in the playlist. But I don't want it to be so bogged down with rules that people are like, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed out. Well, all you're doing is you're introducing your channel, you're calling out my name, you're calling out the 10 rules, you're telling them a secret word, and that's it. That's all the 4 things that need to be in the video. That's it.
Yeah.
And if you want to leave the rules out, leave the rules out. They're only there to protect you. I like to put in there not responsible for lost or damaged prizes, because if something gets lost, I ain't doing it again.
Yeah. And I've actually had that happen.
I don't rescind. If you didn't get your prize, I'm so sorry. I cannot afford to replace it. I cannot buy another.
I had a prize that
somebody told me that too, but how do you know if that really happened or if they made it up to you?
I had one person got a prize, but it came there damaged. Mm-hmm. And it was damaged to where the post office knew it was damaged, and they put it in something else, and still delivered it, but part of what was in it was damaged. And then I had another person who never got their package.
What did you do about those circumstances?
The one that it came damaged, I think I ended up sending them like a gift card or something to make up for the fact that, because I couldn't replace the prize. So
and that's why
I did that. But I do the same thing now. I say I'm not responsible, and then if something happens, sorry.
That's why I really think because they're so easy to put a gift card in the mail. It's cheap. They get the full price of it. It's easy. That's why I do gift cards a lot, because literally, if I make a set of stitch markers, it costs almost $5 to mail those things.
Yes, man, the postage is just outrageous anymore.
One thing that we did start is on Healthy Goals Wednesday and on my Friday Night Live, we're going to be doing giveaways with those every time. They're pretty small, 1 to 3 prizes per time. Healthy Goals Wednesday, we are going to give away an apron. Heather made an apron to give away, but she's only going to give away the apron if we reach 40 people in the chat. So if we reach 40 people in the chat tonight, which means if you share and get people in there and we get 40, she'll set it up and we'll do the giveaway. So that's how that's going to work. It could happen this week. It could happen the next week or the next. Whenever we hit 40 in there, we'll give away the apron. But we are going to give away the other stuff tonight, some other stuff tonight. So we're trying to make sure we get people in, and keep people interested. And it's really not a hard thing to put a seed in the mail to someone. It just costs 1 stamp. You have extras or you have things you harvested yourself. So we're trying to do some of those simple type giveaways that we can do to show people, appreciation for coming in and stuff. So we're trying to work on our crowd, a little bit. So.
Well, I'm so glad that you came and talked about the meetup, and I hope somebody out there in YouTube land hears it or sees this. And I will go back and put the hashtag in there so that if anybody is looking for it, they'll be able to find it.
Informational, yeah. And if you're coming in now and you want to hear about the Ozark meetup, go back to the very beginning and watch the whole replay, and you can hear the details. And you can email questions to gailsouthernliving22@yahoo.com, and I will answer any of your questions.
It does. Misha went to the one up there in Helen, Georgia. And I don't know where Misha lives, so I don't know how far that was for her to travel.
I know Misha, but I don't know where she lives.
Yeah.
I know of Misha.
Yeah. So I know it's a lot of fun to go and be able to meet people that you've, like you said, been on their channels or had them on as guests, but you've never actually met in person.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I
It,
just wish that there was more of a, because there's got to be more people in your areas, each person's area, but you just don't know about their channels. I wish there was like YouTube would have a directory or something.
yeah. Well,
When you,
you can always put in hashtag Georgia and see what comes up. I
that's an idea.
know, because I don't do it every time, but I try to remember to put in hashtag Texas, not in my first tags, but in that second set of tags there. I
Hmm.
try to put in hashtag Texas in there.
But sometimes I'll put like South Georgia, hashtag South Georgia,
Mhm.
especially if I'm doing something that I want them to
Especially like gardening,
know.
when you're looking at gardening, I try to put in hashtag Texas or hashtag zone 8A, because if someone's looking to find gardening tips that is in my zone or in my area, it could be helpful to them. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, if you got any gardening questions, you can text me anytime and I'll answer them for you, because I know
Well,
you're
I'm very excited to see how my little seedlings do once I transplant them. And, we'll see. We'll see. I'll be like, oh no, if they die, I'll have to go buy plants because I'm having vegetables this year. I'm sorry, but I'm having them grow
yeah,
out.
you just
But,
like what I do is those little square pots that you get from the store.
mhm.
Occasionally I'll buy a start of something, so I save those, and I actually grow my seedlings in those, because you can kind of just squeeze the sides of them and get the soil a little bit
Yeah.
loose, and just dig the
Well,
hole big
see,
enough to put that all of the soil around it, and make sure you got enough room for your roots.
yeah. And I
Because
didn't, I didn't think about so many of my seeds coming up
you
because
kind
I
of
kind of
press
put too
it
many in there.
press it down a little bit and get some soil over that other soil, and
Yeah.
just make sure it's down in there real good, and then double check it, because sometimes if it rains or something, those roots will try to come up, or that little chunk of soil will try to come up. And so just, kind
Yeah.
of pat down around it, and don't, put your full pressure, but kind of pat down to hopefully keep it all in there. But you should do okay. And just try to get them to a decent size to where you feel like they can handle it. And I don't know, when is your last frost date? Do you know?
Oh, we're done.
You're already there?
Yeah.
Okay. So are you going to plant yours outside on a balcony, or what's your
I have a patio.
patio? Okay. Well,
Hmm.
Carol with Broke But Bountifully Blessed is growing on a balcony. So that's balcony patio, pretty close.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you are in the same kind of situation. So you might look and watch some of her videos. She may have some good. She's older than me, old school. She has a lot of knowledge, man. You could just glean off of her knowledge and probably learn all kinds of stuff, because she can probably teach gardening from a balcony better. Uh,
Yeah. I
but
definitely will be able to pull them out from under my patio,
Mhm.
for part of the day for the sun or whatever. But I'm not going to try to have anything that I can't move, so
Yeah,
that if I need to move them out, I will be able to. So I'm going
you
to
know
try not to.
what you might consider for next year for your particular situation. I've never used these, but you might consider grow bags, because they actually have handles,
Handles. Yeah.
or you might consider 5-gallon buckets, because they also have handles.
And
So,
I saw a thing the other day that was like showing all the different vegetables that you can grow in a laundry basket.
mhm.
My only question of that is how does the dirt stay in there where you've got the holes in the laundry
I
basket?
think I tried a laundry basket. My assessment of laundry basket is there's too many holes for your
Well,
water and your soil to leave. That's my opinion, because I
that's
tried.
what I thought. When you would water it, wouldn't it just wash out through the
You'd be
hole?
better off buying a trash can and punching holes in the bottom. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You
Yeah.
could buy a pot or a Dollar Tree trash can. And if you don't have a drill, because my husband has a drill, but before I learned how to use the drill, which was only just last summer, I used to take a knife and just punch holes in the bottom to
Yeah.
give it drainage. So you can,
But I
that's
even
what
thought
your
about
container is for. I
like
have
the,
actually three trash cans and 8 tires, 3 trash cans, and all kinds of weird containers. I even have a coffee. You know how the coffee comes in the plastic containers?
Mhm.
Those are food safe containers. And I drilled a hole in the bottom. And believe it or not, those like Hill Brothers or Folgers or even Walmart brand, those plastic containers are thicker than you think.
Yeah.
So we'll see if I get anything up in my coffee container.
Well, depending upon how well this goes this year, then if it goes good, then I may invest in some 5-gallon buckets. Like just buy a bucket or two each month,
Yeah, and
leading
kind
up
of
to
save them
next
up because
year.
you can stack them on top of each other. And
Yeah. And then
yeah,
that way I could, just have them
I
stacked
have
up in the corner of the patio. And then when I'm ready to use them, I can pull them out and,
I only had 3, but this year I added about 5 more. And then I
yeah.
decided to save one of my 5-gallon buckets and not put holes in it and use it for my compost tea.
But I just feel like with the handle, and they're pretty sturdy,
Yeah.
it would be easy to pull if I had to pull them, if I couldn't lift it, but I could drag it,
Yeah.
if I needed to move them around. But the way that my patio is and the way that the sun is here in Georgia, it's like all the way under the patio gets full sun.
Yeah.
And I have it's open on the one end and open across the front and then open on the other end. And the way the sun comes through, it's almost like it comes in through that side and just illuminates the whole, thing. So I
That's good.
don't think I'm going to have a problem with them getting enough sun, because it's not like it's a shaded. I mean, I can't even sit out there in the hot summer, because
Yeah.
it's full. You're like in the full sun, even though you have a roof over your head.
Yeah.
It's just the way that it is. So
I
I
actually
don't,
have a chair in the backyard and it sits under a tree next to my gardening table, but that area is only shaded part of the day. If it's too hot there and I need to sit down, I'll move my folding chair over under the big tree that's by the chicken coop and I'll just sit there and they'll yell at me while I'm sitting there. But I'm like, I'm not sitting here for you. I'm resting, because I have to rest. It's Texas and I have trouble with my back sometimes. And so I have to
yeah.
rest. I have to sit down and rest. But yeah. Well, I'm excited for your gardening journey, and
Yeah, I'm really excited because
you can ask me any questions you want, or if someone tells you something you're not sure, like the water thing, you can run it by me. I'll give you my opinion, and then you can
well,
tell
I
me
was when I
you
was
believe it. But
hearing that, I was like, I bet you Gail doesn't have a well, because I was thinking she
it
probably
would
lives in
be
town.
better. It would be better, but it's not something all of us can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's country
I mean,
people.
I don't even have a
Who
spigot
have-
on my porch or my patio to be able to hook up a garden hose. So I'm going to have to tote the water out there anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm not buying special water. I'm going to run it out the spigot and I'm going to let it sit in here on the counter for a day or two, and then
Well,
I'll
in your
use it.
case, you might you might buy yourself a 5-gallon bucket and leave it out there. And you know what you could do? What I've been doing with my compost, I had a cup that had a handle. So I have that laying on the ground right next to it and a stick to stir it. And what I do is I dip into the bucket and I water the plant like that. It's also good exercise, like walking. So that's what I'm doing for my fertilizer. But you could do that. You could leave a bucket out there all the time to gather water for you. And then when it does, you could wait until you feel like it's dried out enough and use that rainwater. You
Yeah.
could at least do a 5-gallon bucket worth. Every little bit helps.
Hello, Mark from Corner Clubhouse Cobalt, and hello, Sebastian. How are y'all doing today? We're just kind of talking garden tips right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be fun. But my granddaughter has totally enjoyed planting the seeds and watching them grow.
It's a good time
And
to teach her about gardening, and maybe she'll
yes,
grow up and be interested in it, because we need the future generation to be interested in it, because we don't know what kind of situations you're going to be out there where she may need to know how to grow her own food, and if she already knew, that would be put her ahead of the curve.
right. Hi, Moon over Miami. Well, it's so weird because I've always my dad, gardened,
My
and
dad.
I've always had house plants and things like that. But my daughter never really cared much about it. Well, she's gotten into house plants now,
My sister
and
is
it's
on her
like,
second year of gardening, and she's getting really into it.
yeah,
So now my brother, my sister, and myself, we have this group chat, and Mom's on there too, but she really just grows flowers. But anyway, we're on this group family chat now where we talk about gardening. I was like, well, at least if we're talking about gardening, we're talking about something. So that
that's
keeps us in constant communication with each other. So that's a good thing.
mhm. Yeah. My brother, he gardens too, but he's in Southern Illinois. So their
Yeah.
climate's a little bit different. But now my sister lives in Florida, and she was like, "Well, I'm glad you and Guy like to garden, but she doesn't like to garden. No, that's not
Yeah.
her."
Well, those people who
But
don't like to garden, at least there's somebody you could give some of your extra veggies to if you get too many
yeah.
zucchini or
And
something.
I told my son-in-law, I said, I think I'm going to have more plants than I thought I was going to have. So I was just going to share the vegetables with you, but I may be sharing you some plants. So you might
Well,
have to
if there
grow
is
your own.
any seed you can think of that you need that you couldn't find, if I happen to have it, I don't mind throwing it in the mail to you, because you're new, you're just starting. And if there's something you think of, you're like, oh, I really want to try. If I have it, I'll send it to you. You
Well,
know.
I definitely was looking for a certain kind of cucumber, but
Mhm.
I mean, I couldn't find it anywhere. And I was like, well, okay. So I'm hoping the cucumbers that I got are not the huge, big, giant ones. I'm hoping it said they were smaller, but
Were
you
you
never
looking for
know.
like pickling cucumbers or something, maybe? Because
I,
those are smaller.
yeah, I can't remember the name of it now, but I had researched it and I had a name because Adrian from Indiana Backyard Gardener, she was telling me like what to, look for my area of
You
what.
should do the seed swap next year.
Yeah.
Literally, you could take a pack of seeds you have that's extra, and you could even, if you don't want to buy little seed zippies, you could actually take paper and make your own little containers for them,
Hmm.
and just mark what they are, and you could send those seeds in, and you could join that seed swap, and you could ask for the things that you want. And she's really good, and you put what you want the most on the top, and then you go further down. That way
Yeah.
she knows to try to get your top two,
And
maybe.
I definitely want to do the survival. If this works, then I
Yeah.
want to do the survival seeds next year. But
Well,
I didn't want to get the seeds,
I understand,
have them
but
die, you
but
know.
don't put so much pressure on yourself, because it's actually a really good learning experience to watch everybody else's videos and see how they're doing stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm not so like whatever that I think if I don't like beets, I shouldn't grow it. So Mom found out that I was growing beets, and she knows I don't like them. So she's like, when you harvest those, can I have some? I'm like, of course. But I did think of two things I'm going to do with the beets. I'm going to make a soap colorant, and I'm going to make a beet powder to put in my protein shakes. So,
Oh, that would be good.
and
I
Mom's
like
going to make
beets
a couple.
though. I would eat the beets.
Yeah.
We
So,
grew beets in our garden when I was a kid.
and then
A lot
cutie
a lot of
beets
people
aren't
don't like beets.
necessarily my thing, but they grow really easy here. So I'm going to give them a try.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, next year I will have so much more time to do things because I won't be watching her full time. So it'll be,
You'll have more time in your hands. Yeah, it would
yeah,
be a great way to grow your channel, because there's probably a good 50 people in there. But even if you're not a collaborator, you could still go in there on the last Sunday of the month, and you could
I know
enter
I keep trying to remember that. And then
for those
I miss
hashtag
it.
prizes. Now, you can't enter the collaborator stuff, but they still out of 14 prizes, they probably had a good 5 or 6 that were hashtag prizes in there. And they had hydroponic systems, seed saving Bibles, gardening tools, pest control items, like a hori knife. I don't know. It's some kind of anyway, I have one. But anyway, I've already won 3 things, 3 gardening
Terry
things this year.
Crafty T333. I'm not sure who that is, but says, do you have the cardinal basil? Is it basil or CELIOSA? I don't know what that is, but I guess they're asking you. Do you know about that?
I have your basic Italian basil. I had dark purple basil, but I planted the whole entire pack. So the only thing I have left is your basic Italian basil. That's all I have. So I don't have any. The only fancy basil I had was the dark purple basil, and I planted the whole pack because I like purple. So, that's one I actually bought specifically. But yeah, we'll be giving away some seeds tonight on Healthy Goals Wednesday. We're also going to I'm going to give away some seeds tonight. Heather will be doing the live for Healthy Goals Wednesday tonight. Friday, I'll be giving away seeds on my regular Friday night live. So, giveaway.
And those are at what time?
Healthy Goals Wednesday tonight is at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
So at 7 p.m. Eastern, right?
I think so.
I think you're an hour ahead of me.
If you look at Heather's live, if you ever want to know when a live is, if you go up and look for Heather, it'll tell you what it is in your time. It'll convert it for you if you're ever confused, because I get confused. And then Friday night, I'm at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. And this week, I'm going to be talking with Indiana Backyard Gardener. So, and I'm going to try to have her on as a guest another time too. So, and I'd like to have you up, but we'll have to figure out what we're going to talk about.
Indiana Backyard Gardener lives. I grew up between 2 towns in Indiana. And she lives in the town that I actually went to high school in and the town that I took my driving test in.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah. I love talking to her.
She's very knowledgeable about gardening. She's really smart. Yeah, definitely. Well, I need to get off here so I can go make up my lunch fajitas for today. Lunch fajita.
I was just trying to find this to see about what time that live is. Okay, scheduled in 4 hours. So I don't know. That would be 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'll have to check and see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody.
For now. So when
thank
you go
you,
look
everybody.
Wednesday, it'll be on hers till she gets her level 1.
Okay.
It'll be over there for now.
All right. Well, thank you, Miss Gail, very much.
Thank you for having me up.
It was fun, and we'll do it again. And if anybody has any questions about the meetup, about Healthy Goals Wednesday, or about gardening, Gail's your woman.
Thank you. Hi, guys. Bye, guys. Thank you all for coming in, and thank you for watching it on the replay.
All right. Bye, everybody.